Hey, it's Jimbo's Grapes here again. Today's video is going to be a little bit more structured. Um, I want to talk about bots that are for utility that are kind of essential for everybody to have. Well, not essential, but it'll make your life a lot easier. Um, so these are bots right here that I believe everybody should kind of have something along these lines or very similar, if not the exact same thing. So I'm just going to go from left to right and talk about each one of these bots, the fit, and what they're used for, and why they're really good to have. Okay, so first one here, an artifacting bot. So Hermes, Ictus, not an Ictus, Icarus I think it's called. There's a lot of really good bots that you can artifact in. I personally prefer the Hermes just because it's got the bonus to range. So you can find artifacts a little bit more out of the range. Some people like Icarus. It's a very fast bot and it's got decent cargo. 30U. This guy's also got about 20U of cargo capacity, so you can artifact a bit longer. You can be out there a bit longer. And then also some people like a Sequer. It's got the 80U of cargo. You could be going forever. It's a bit slow, and it's also not really it doesn't really have any bonuses. But here's what I fit it with, and this is it: T4 Geoscanner, T4 lightweight frame, and a T1 small shield generator. I usually like to artifact on beta because it's just way better. T4 lightweight frames, they're super easy to make, super easy to research. Geoscanners, same thing. If you just open this up, you know, lightweight frames, not that bad. And then the geoscanners, where are they? I don't even know. Must be common one. No, they're indie. That's right. Geoscanners, like only a tier 5 indie requirement there. So super easy. Also on the market, they're super flooded. 1.8 million, barely anything. Lightweight frames a little bit more expensive, but still, you know, you only need one. This whole bot setup's gonna cost you about 5 to 7 million. No more than that. In the cargo, very important. Always want to have 2 standard teleport beacons in your cargo. The reason for this is if you get observer stashes, you could drop a teleport and wait for it to spool up, and then pop the observer stash and instantly teleport away. Pop the observer stash, grab the loot, very important to grab the loot, and then you can instantly teleport away. On betas, that's pretty much the only way you could survive popping an observer stash, unless you've got some really good terrain and some quick fingers. Even then, it's super risky. And I don't know why I have so much ammo in here. Usually I carry about 100 to 150 ammo. Almost never do I need that much, but it's just nice to have a little bit of extra. But you do want to also keep in mind your cargo space. You can only really artifact for as long as you've got cargo space before you start to need to head back. So yeah, 2 standard teleport beacons. I wouldn't carry any more than that because again, they do take up that 4U of cargo space, and then about 100 to 150 charges, and that should be enough to fill you up in order to make it back. So yeah, super easy bot to use, very profitable, very nice to just kind of, you can do it on one account. You don't have to have anything else set up. If you want to just log on, make a little bit of profit, or do something that's a little bit active while, you know, you're talking to your boys or whatever, or if you're doing something else, super easy to go, mindless, and then you just go and artifact and you're good to go. Okay, next bot here, my Geo Scouter. Kind of another thing, just a utility bot. Before I go on mine, I grab this guy, 166 kilometers per hour. I believe the Chameleon is the fastest bot in the game, which is why I am using the Chameleon. You can use any fast bot you want. You can use, yeah, any fast bot you want. I prefer the Chameleon just because it is better. A little bit more expensive, but you know, you got that really nice speed. T4 frame, geoscanner, that's it. I go and I pre-scout whenever I want to mine. I pre-scout with my Chameleon, go find it super fast, mark the spot, make a waypoint, come back, mine it later with all my guys so that I don't have to muck around with that. Really, really nice to have. Okay, this one's a big one. Everybody should have this. This is a leech bot. So what this is your friends go out and they're doing something and they say, hey, anybody want to come along for some EP? You say, heck yeah, jump in your leech bot, lock up whatever target's doing damage, and then you just either repair or remote sensor. I have found that repair actually gives a bit more EP over the sensors. Still kind of testing that, but I prefer the small remote armor repair. Very essential. 2 sensor amplifiers. You don't want to be locking up and taking a super long time to lock up. But you don't need the T4s. I just, T4s are, sensor amps are actually super cheap. 1.8 million, not too bad. They're really easy to make, really easy to research. This is something that a lot of people could get if they wanted to. T4 sensor amps are huge. It's only a tier 5, super easy to get. You can see we've got it EndoCorp research for it. Yeah, highly recommend getting T4 sensor amps. If you're just getting new to Indie, that's a great one to start on. T4 sensor amps, T4 lightweight frames. You need those for so many things, PvP and PvE included. So yeah, T4 sensor amps. And then just a little bit of protection here, a little bit of speed in case you don't want to be slowing the group down. A little bit of speed's always nice. Usually if you're farming though, people are going to be in mechs, going to be in heavy mechs. They're not going to be that fast. 100 kilometers per hour, plenty enough. Yeah, just a leech bot. And then if you want, you can also help loot. Some people get a little bit picky about that, but if that's there, then that's there. Okay, next thing. Kind of essential to have. Now, if you're just running one account, this isn't going to apply to you. I would, I've always been an advocate of multiple accounts. It just opens up so much more of the game to you. But if you're playing with a friend, they got a few extra EP. You can get a Logibot. Logibot's going to allow a lot more PvE access to you as far as farming NPCs go. So here's a starter Logibot. You can actually Logi with the Cronus. I'm going to get to the Cronus in a bit. But this is just a starter Logibot. Again, those T4 sensor amps are huge. The remote sensor amp, bit more expensive, bit more hard to get. You can certainly go with tier 1s, but the tier 4s make a big difference, especially if you're doing something like taps where locking time is essential. Yeah, bit more expensive, a bit harder to get. I'm pretty sure I'm one of the few people that's ever actually mass produced these. But yeah, T1s are going to be fine, but like I said, the T4s are pretty huge to get. And then on this guy, just because with the Terramis you do have some fitting restrictions, I've got 2 T1 smalls and 1 medium. So 2 smalls and 1 medium. If you're doing light taps, which if this is what you're using, you're probably only going to be doing light taps. This is going to be more than enough for a Logibot. This is just way more than enough. You're never going to take any sort of risk with this. It's just not going to be an issue. So this is kind of a starter Logibot. Terramis is about 10 million. Not that bad. You can get that in a little bit. But yeah. In my Logibot, I don't have it in this one because I just threw this fit together quickly, but in my Logibot, I usually like to carry 2 teleports as well, always in the cargo. Just really, really nice to have. Actually, for me, I usually carry 2 standards and 2 emergencies, just in case, or if I'm feeling lazy, or I gotta go quickly, something pops up, I gotta, go, well, yeah, just quickly, drop the emergency, get all my bots out of there as fast as possible and get to a safe spot. And then, once you've got a little bit better, once you're at the point where you're fitting something like this, you're probably not going to really need a tutorial for it, but, very standard. This is a Logibot to support 2 mechs, 2 DPS, all T4 fit, remote sensor amps, 2 mediums. I do medium taps with this bot. It can tank 6 heavy mechs at a time fairly well. So something like this, you're going to be able to do almost all the content in the game. no problem. As long as you're not doing anything too well. Yeah, as long as you're not doing anything too crazy or you're not going too far out of your league, this bot is going to be able to tank almost all the stuff you're going to encounter in the game, and also repair quick enough for that. Okay, so those are the Logi bots. Again, more so this one, highly recommend you start setting up something like this. You can obviously progress to something better. But yeah, something like this, very, very essential to have if you're going to do any PvE farming. Like I said, whether that be in the form of taps, or if you're doing some stuff on Hirschfield, just some lighter stuff, always good to have a Logibot. Okay, next thing. This is crucial, especially in the early game when you want to start making Nick. When I started, all I had was 3 of these. 3 of these. Everything you see that I have, my almost 4 billion Nick now, started with these guys. Mission bots. So this is for harvesting missions, which is one of the fastest ways to make Nick in the game. This was what I started with. 3 Cronuses on 3 different accounts, missioning. That's all that I did to start. Now, it's not that fun, but it's very profitable, and it gets you that leap into the game that allows you to get all the bots that you want. And then once you start getting your standing up, you can start to, and you get your Nick up, you can start to buy the stuff you need in order to really accelerate and exponentially grow your wealth and what you have. So yeah, this is my fit. This is all that you need doing harvesting missions. You get those tokens, you sell those tokens, or you get tokens to get echelons or legatuses or the metis. Then you can start doing taps, and then the rest kind of goes up from there. So this is my mission bot. Everyone that's just starting out should have one of these for harvest missions. You jump in it, you do some missions, you make some Nick really quick, you can replace anything that you lose, and then you always have access to Nick. Now, this is what I'm currently using. This is my current mission bot, so to speak. I go on beta, I do missions, I'm making about 40 to 80 million an hour, depending if I'm selling tokens or not. But yeah, minimum 40 million an hour, and that's doing tier 6 missions. So this is my mission bot that I've got now. You work up to it, you get it, and then like I said, 40 million an hour. You do missions for an hour, this thing pays for itself. Everybody should have at least one account that can go and do missions and do profitable missions and just make Nick, because that's essential for replacing your bots, for getting ahead, and then for doing all the things that you love to do in the game. Yeah, highly recommend having, again, if you're just starting, Cronus, more than good enough. Absolutely perfect for starting off missioning, and then eventually, like I said, working your way into a gargoyle. I would not recommend a symbiont because they're extremely slow and extremely expensive. Well, not extremely expensive, but they are expensive, and they don't actually add that much speed. And in some cases, depending on where you're harvesting, doing your harvest missions, they can actually end up being slower because you don't have that extra speed. 100 kilometers per hour, symbionts are way slower. Symbionts are more for if you are doing mass harvesting for resources to do production. Gargoyles are actually better for missioning, in my opinion, as far as price to effectiveness goes. Especially if you're going on beta where you don't want to be losing your, you don't want to be losing your lunch every time. Highly recommend the gargoyles. This is a MK2. Yeah, MK2 gargoyle is just nuts. MK1's obviously going to be fine, but if you can eventually get into the MK2, going to really increase your profit. Okay, next thing. Again, this is for taps. A Dialytus with a couple Nexus modules. I like the Assault and the Lock Booster if I'm doing light taps. I feel like this gives the highest DPS increase or the highest clear time increase. Leeching module, need that coprocessor in order to fit those Nexuses in, and then just a shield and a couple accumulator recharges. This guy works perfectly for introductory to Nexuses and then introductory to taps. Highly recommend this guy. I'm going to be doing a video later today actually where I show my new tap setup just on 2 accounts. That's all I use, 2 accounts, doing taps 5 minutes a piece, and like I said, there's going to be a video on that a bit later. As you can see, you got that standard teleport beacon in the cargo. If you don't have this, it can be kind of sketchy, especially if you're doing taps on Beta Island for that double EP and the splash damage. Make your taps go a lot faster. Highly recommend keeping a teleport beacon or two in the cargo, just to get around when you're done doing your taps. But yep, super simple. Just a really easy bot to get, not that expensive, not that hard to get. All the stuff you buy right off the market, infinity amount. Just a cheap, easy Nexus bot that'll allow you to loot and do taps with 2 accounts. And then just once you progress, this is my final Nexus bot. This one's actually set up to do medium taps. Got the medium energy transfer there to top up the Logibot in case I do get those super heavy 6 heavy mech DPS waves. Energy recharger, again, keeping that tank up, keeping that energy up. Critical hit and assault. So yeah, this is, and again, this is just to show. Oh, I got a bit of loot in here. Oh, look at that. Anyways, this is just to show what you can work towards eventually in order to get start making that bigger profit. This right here is what I would consider kind of the essential bot to have, and then once you eventually get up there, this is something that you can work towards getting the Lithus Nexus bot, because Lithus, in my opinion, is the best Nexus bot, especially for doing stuff like taps. Okay, next thing, very simple. Oh, I got loot in here too. What the heck is going on? Ooh, lots of loot. Should probably just toss that in there. Actually, can I do that for this one too? Because apparently I am super unorganized and forget stuff. You know, it's like finding change in your pocket. Everybody loves finding that $5 bill in their pocket. It's like, man, I'm $5 richer than I thought I was. Anyways, yeah. So again, this is very self-explanatory. Just a quick haul bot. I like Sequer with the T4 lightweight frame. Now, the main thing I use this for is when I do harvest missions on Beta Islands and I'm on a terminal, all of my tokens get stuck at that terminal and I can't bring them back just with my gargoyle alone. So I like to bring this guy out. Usually I'll have 2 accounts. I'll scout ahead and then I will go with my hauler, just go grab it as quick as possible, because the thing is, if you have a shield and you build tank on your Sequer, if you get caught out while you're going, you're dead. It doesn't matter. So I like to get in and out as quick as possible, lower the amount of time that I'm on the Beta Island, then I lower the risk for myself losing anything. So yeah, so this is my guy that I like to use, just again, quick in and out hauling, very self-explanatory. Yeah, not much more to that. And then, last but not least, Scout Grab and Go, just a quick scouting bot. Gonna say right now, not cap stable. So if you are using the signal detector, one thing I did start doing was throwing a accumulator expander on here. So you could do something like, let's see if I got all the stuff for this. Where are my coprocessors? Don't have any. Okay. I do have them. They're in here, I think. No, I don't. So, a build in the making. So you can throw in that coprocessor and then just an accumulator expander. Make it a bit easier on your accumulator in order to scout a bit more. Sorry, pop that signal detector a bit more. But yep, this is something that I use. So if you are using multiple accounts and you know you got to get to anywhere on beta, or even if you want to just scout out the island, if you want to go around and scout out the island, great for PvP, great for PvE. Yeah, just a scout bot. That's all there is to it, really. Highly recommend everybody just having one of these so that you know you can drop out, scout around. Knowledge is power. It's really important. So yeah. So again, these are kind of bots that I would consider maybe not essential other than the missioning bot. I would say in order to get ahead in this game, you need to have some sort of missioning bot in order to build up your nick, at least initially. Like, once you start getting into the market and you start actually, you know, buying stuff, or sorry, building and selling and, you know, whatever, you know, you can make tons of nick that way. But in order to get to that point, you need a baseline of bots in order to get there. So yeah, I would highly recommend, if anything, having a cheap mission bot that you can just get into, go and make nick, and then you can get whatever you want off of that as long as you're making nick. Yeah, leech bot super important, and then artifact bot, you know, just great to have. All this stuff is just cheap and great to have. Okay, next thing I want to talk about is a few DPS choices. So once you get to the point where you can start to get into mechs, and again, it kind of depends what you want to do. I wouldn't consider these ones essential, but I did just want to show a couple fits that I have for doing taps solo. So this bot right here can actually solo taps without any support at all. So red is good against blue, so this is for doing blue taps. Yeah, like I said, solos taps, no problems, no support at all. And then I've got another one here. For the cane, bit harder to fit, so I did have to go with the MK2. But yeah, again, just quick little fit. It's pretty self-explanatory. The ECCM's more important when you're doing it solo, just because getting ECM'd when you have only one account completely stops your DPS from going out. So the ECCMs are pretty huge. On the cane, I found that you're still one-shotting stuff just as easily. But yeah, and then this guy, not one-shotting stuff as much, but again, it's kind of hit or miss. But yeah, like I said, I've tested these. Keep in mind, I've got extremely high skills, so not really going to be viable for everybody. But if you do just play on one account or two accounts, or you just play one account with a friend, a fit like this can solo taps, and you can get your EP and you can get your research that way. That's what I did to start. I just did taps, just level 1 light taps, and I grinded the heck out of them, and that's how I got my baseline research set up in order to start getting to higher and higher things. So yeah, DPS bot, something set up like this, or something set up like this. Tyrannos, you can imagine what a Tyrannos would look like. Exact same setup. 2 sensor amps, 2 ECCMs, and then I think they've got 5 lows. Don't quote me on that, but you know, a couple weapon stabs, armor rep, and then an ERP. If you can fit it, the universal armor is really nice as well. So yeah, just a couple builds, couple bots that are really nice to have, and that's all that I wanted to go over. Again, hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.